Was a girl running in our group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford Coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look out, buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
Well, and speaking of which, we're talking about fires. South Korea's battery fires are a worry for electric vehicle makers. And that's the headline in automotive news. A major blaze in South Korea that knocked out a wide range of key digital services for days, snarling banking, ride-sharing, and online deliveries, is reigniting safety concerns in a nation that's a key global supplier of lithium-ion cells used in electric vehicles. Yes, they are. The days-long outage followed a fire October 15th at a data center in Pango, engulfing batteries used in backup power systems and impacting key local firms, including KKO Corporation of South Korea, their most ambiguous social media giant, oh boy, provider of the country's most popular messaging service. It's their Facebook, I guess. Even with SK, CNC operator at the data center, still investigating the cause of the fire. That's important for the electric car sector, given 3 South Korean-based companies, LG Energy Solutions Limited, SK On Company, and Samsung SDI, rank among the top tier of global battery suppliers. So if they can't make a battery that doesn't catch the neighborhood on fire, how are they going to make a battery that doesn't catch a car on fire?
One step at a time. We're getting there.
We are getting there. We are getting there. In Arizona, this was kind of cool. They had some people stealing, I don't know if they're stolen, but they were importing cars from Mexico and selling them to dealers in Arizona. And in Arizona, the police came and they shut them down. A whole bunch of different dealers and ransacked their records looking for this problem. And at the very end, I think I highlighted it. They said they could not, for any reason, prosecute these people. They had no reason or no right to prosecute them. But in Arizona, the AG, Attorney General's office, sent, and they actually, one group, Mark Enterprises, claims agents violated its constitutional rights by wrongfully obtaining and executing a search warrant, as well as by seizing vehicles, deal jackets, and business records. Well, it was a 2.5-day affair, and 70 agents were involved. And that's the Mark Enterprises is the one that has filed the suit, saying that they were targeted, and that this guy was selling cars all over Arizona, and there was nothing wrong with them. The retailer claims its stores were the only ones investigated. That's what they said. Although at least 7 other dealerships bought used vehicles imported from Mexico by the same source. And Hyundai, when they're not catching on fire, the Hyundai dealer have sued Hyundai. The dealer based in New York is suing Hyundai for withholding inventory after not opting into the newest image program. See, the dealerships want these car makers to beautify their place, to put them into the year 2020 or 2022.
Yeah.
They want to update them. They want to upgrade them, make them beautiful, and they have. If you look, some of your local dealers, they're pretty good size now, and they're really looking sharp. Well, this dealer in New York said, no, I'm not opting in. I'm not putting out the money. How much was it? Oh, it tells you it's like $1 million you got to spend on your building to make it look the way they want it. And it's not working. The nub of the complaint has to do with discretionary allocations, a common industry practice in which the manufacturer exercises its prerogative to award additional vehicles to a dealer as it sees fit. Well, that's the problem. We're not at normal inventories right now, but discretionary allocation. This poor guy in New York can't get any cars because he won't spend $1 million to upgrade his business.
Yeah. No promise he'll get cars, but they want him to spend $1 million.
But you know what? Those dealers all made big bucks last year.
Record profits, right?
Record money. They didn't have record sales. They had record money.
Well, so I wanted to we're talking about dealerships. I wanted to mention this story while we're talking about it. This is an interesting story. I saw that. The average pay for an employee at a U.S. dealership surpasses $100,000 a year, while the turnover rate is the lowest in recorded history from the National Automotive Dealers Association. So basically, if you're looking for a good job...
car dealer is the way to fly.
It looks like we're working. I mean,
they have really heavy restrictions now on. It's not like the old days,
yeah,
where you could walk in and say, "I can sell cars." You have to know what you're talking about. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be able to run a computer. You have to be able to do a lot of things on computer.
Well, but I assume this also is not just sales. I think
it's body shop and service. And in the service department, you have to upgrade. You have to upgrade every 3 months and pass a test on a computer with the home office, the home base, to make sure that you're allowed to work there. And, of course, the dealerships, some of them are $180 an hour for their labor.
Wow.
You know, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And at $180 an hour, how much can I afford to pay my mechanic? I could pay him $75 an hour and still make $110 off of them, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just, they can do it because they're charging exorbitant rates. But hey, if you know what, if I was a young man and I read that, I'd probably be knocking on their door, and they'd love to have me because I was good. But if you're just kind of a lazy bugger, you're not going to last. They all get so much per book hour. You make so many hours if you don't make 40 hours in a week, they're not going to laugh at you, but they're not going to watch. Now they're going to watch you. And if you don't make 40 hours 3 weeks in a row, now you're going to be looking for a job.
Oh yeah.
Because you're not pulling your share.
But if you're willing to put in a hard day's labor,
you be a little fish in a big pond. This is what I tell guys, and be prepared to work, and not get anything but money for it.
Yeah.
But you'll get money, good money. It's there, and the dealership's got it because they're killing people with their sales, and they're making me so busy. I'm like a week out on appointments.
Yeah.
It's insane. People will not. There's a group of people in this country that will not be hosed. They just will not be cheated.
Okay.
And what they're doing right now with these cars, they're not putting them on the lot. They're keeping them other places. They're saying, well, you got a choice of 4 here. You want to buy that? You want to buy that car? Here's 4 of them. What if it's not the color you want? Don't matter.
Right.
So you go over and you say, is this the price on the sticker? No, add $5,000. And that's just how they're doing business, and they're making a killing.
Right.
And a salesman gets a percentage, of course, of the money he makes on the job, of what they call the sheet. He makes the money off the sheet.
Okay.
And these guys are selling cars for $3,000 to $5,000 over sticker, not the color you want, not the car you want, not the options you want, but it's all we got. This is all you're going to get.
Right.
And that's just ludicrous that they're doing this. It makes me seethe. I see red when I think about it.
But the question is, how long are people going to put up with that?
They're not.
They're not going to for very long.
They're not. They're not putting up with it for now. I mean,
right.
I am so busy with people putting $2,000 and $3,000 into their 10-year-old car, so they can get another 5 years out of it, because they're not going to play this game.
Right.
There are people in this country that have woken up and will not be lied to or cheated. This whole chip thing, you know and I know. I don't even know if it even existed to begin with, but if it did, that's fine. Now it's got to be over. I mean, we're going to give you a chip report. That's like when they were giving the COVID report a year after it was gone.
Okay, the phone's going to start ringing, George. Get back to your...
I know.
Grab your next story.
Just remember, everything I say on this show is strictly my opinion. Big George, your car guy, has nothing to do with WIMS, WHFB, and on any of the stations or the Girard Media.
We're going to have to record that disclaimer for your show soon.
I know, we're going to have to record it. But I'm telling you, it was a year, and they were still hyping, and they're hyping this chip thing, and I know they're available. I know they are. I can just smell it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion again, of course.
You got your big magnifying glass out. You're looking for the chips.
I'm telling you, I shouldn't have to look far.
Yeah.
There's probably a big pile of them in the CEO's top drawer. You know, you guys want to make some more cars? Make sure you get sticker +5. You know, it's a sin. What they're doing is a sin, and people are just not going to buy cars. They're looking at them. When they get done looking at them, they're furious because of the way they're being priced out of the box, and people are being told that they can't do this. Well, you can't. What's the old saying? You can't get there from here. Well, guess what? You can. Sir Charles, so tell me about Tesla's big comeback.
Okay, so
Not Tesla, DeLorean. I get the two confused. They're so much alike.
I'm just going to sigh at you on that one. Okay, so
Well, they're both owned by an eccentric old idiot.
so I'm going to leave. You can run the show by yourself. You're going to insult
Come on now. DeLorean,
Elon and
he
and
died.
John DeLorean.
Yeah.
Okay, so John's daughter, Kat DeLorean, who is I've seen her a little bit on social media. Seems like a very nice lady. She's announced the launch of a new car company called DNG, DeLorean Next Generation Motors. So
Wow.
she's wanting to take on her father's sports car spirit and bring a new sports car to the market. Obviously, that was John's vision, was always to make an inexpensive sports car. And
Right.
he was on track for a while. It got a little more expensive than he planned,
It
and
got expensive.
didn't get the engine he wanted. He made too many compromises, but he got it out there.
Now, this new one, of course, has got to be electric.
Well, yeah, of course.
If she's going to do it.
It's not flying, but it's an electric car. But
Not yet.
So we've talked about this for years and years, that the owners of so we have the DeLorean Motor Company, who basically bought the rights from when it was in bankruptcy. So there's a company out there called DeLorean Motor Company that sells. You can buy parts for your DeLorean and things like that. They're based out of Texas, and they've had a little bit of a feud over the family name. She always felt that she didn't like the idea of somebody else having her family name and stuff like that. But so they've released images of a car. It's called the Model JZD, which is a tribute to John Z. DeLorean.
Okay.
And so it's got an all-electric powertrain. They're saying they're still determining the final product, but it's probably going to be all electric.
Are we talking the gull wing doors and a whole bit?
How could it not? I mean, let's be honest.
Almost has to, yeah.
I'll show you a picture of it, and then you'll have to. Everybody at home will have to Google it. But yeah, I mean, it very much has the spirit of a DeLorean. It's if you were to reimagine the original DeLorean in 2022, that's what you would come up with. So.
If they come out with another one, that just makes the one you have more valuable.
Well, I mean, I would say so. I mean, it's an interesting thing about with the economy tracking the value of like classic cars in a good economy. So there was a point where I was seeing some of the numbers that a well-maintained DeLorean was fetching compared to what I paid for it.
Oh, now, yeah.
4 and 5 times what it was when I first bought it a few years ago.
Oh, and 10 times more than what it was sold for.
Right. And then when the economy started going the other way, now all of a sudden there's guys trying to get rid of them cheap. Yeah. So, but I mean, I guess that's just the market in general.
Well, it's the way things are going right now, our inflation and so forth, where people are ready to sell their souls.
People don't have the money for their hobbies anymore.
No.
So, long story short, if you wanted a DeLorean, now would be the time to buy one. And
if I wanted one.
If you wanted one. You have room in the basement.
I had 2 customers that had them.
Yeah.
And I've never forgiven myself. They had window problems in those things, the little bitty windows.
Why do you need windows for
And they had a recall on them.
Yeah.
There was a new track you put in there. But they didn't tell you that the doors are cut out. Mm-hmm. It's like razor sharp stainless steel. It's like a Gillette razor. You could cut your arm off.
I mean, so you've never worked on it, so I'm doing a very extended frame-off restoration of my DeLorean. Every single part is like that. Every single part you take off that car and pick up, they're razor sharp.
They never cleaned any kind of cut or anything. They just left them sharp. They usually make them smooth,
right.
So nobody gets hurt. And all car makers do that, except DeLorean.
Well, that was a design feature. It's a design choice. Yeah.
I got to tell you, we're going to talk about this because this is a good one. Autonomous driving.
Okay.
Chuck, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Not for a long,
I'm gonna save this clip, and then one day we're going on a ride in my autonomous Tesla.
Long time. Let me tell you here. The auto industry's $75 billion bet, that's billion with a B, Charles, bet on autonomy is not paying off. This is a David Welsh from the Automotive News article. This has spelled disaster for Aurora Innovation, True Simple Holdings, and Embark Technology, whose shares have plunged 80% this year. They're down to tubes. Autonomous vehicle companies and suppliers have collectively spent about $75 billion developing self-driving technology, with scant sign of meaningful revenue from autonomous vehicle services after all that investment. In other words, nobody's using it, nobody's buying it, nobody's putting it to work. So they spent their $75 million. They devised their self-driving program, which I think is level 2. I don't think they go much higher. It's no wonder Intel just slapped the target valuation for its autonomous driving business, Mobileye, slashed it to $16 billion, a fraction of the more than $50 billion it reportedly had in mind 10 months ago. Here's what we talked about with all the things going on, the inflation and everything. They're getting rid of everything they've got. This is what happens when long gestating new technology meets the short patience of public markets and the harsh reality of rising interest rates. People just, you can make them happy and you can get them to really like this autonomous thing, but to get them to buy it is another thing, Chuck.